A little bit smarter there, and emilitoo going to try and be a little bit smarter for game number 2 to adjust his glasses. I think this one should be interesting. Hell is the obvious one, but what other choices do we need to see changed?
Oh, what, in terms of rosters for both teams and God picks?
Anything.
I'm not so sure. I think the composition that we saw the Minotaurs put together there, they won't get again.
Sure.
They'll may get something similar or more jank like they did the previous games, because we saw that out of KiKi and CaptainTwig before. Went for tankiness, then the next game, assassins.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Versatility.
So they might not get the same thing, but I don't think this is a team that really cares.
No, I think that they're so flexible, and we've talked at length about that so far today. For me, I honestly think the only thing that went wrong there was the Hell and the lack of anti-heal, because you look at the Osiris jungle, Twig was getting blown up consistently by the Nemesis. Yammyn was playing well on the Soul. BaRRaCCuDDa was going ham on that Hu Yi. I think that the draft was okay for Juggernauts. It's just that one pick and the lack of itemization against it is what did him in.
I do want to say, like, the Hell thing that I was talking about, you don't have to ban it. I think they do for one reason, because TheBest was left to do whatever he wanted to, because everyone was playing catch Aror, and so there's a giant chicken in the mid lane just throwing damage out consistently and being unchecked.
Normally, this is where I ask, what are we going to see? But let's take a look at the Hell ban. Picks and bans for Minotaurs versus Juggernauts. Robin is first ban because it's Minotaurs. Juggernauts have the ban. And this one's going to be?
They've got to do it, right?
I mean, they're going to have a thing.
It has to be.
Well, at the same time, Manticores can't technically
you can't first pick Hell.
at Hell.
You can't first pick a Hell, because if you do, everyone's going to go, okay, everybody goes anti-heal, GG, we're good. As in, you pick a whole list of anti-heal gods.
Sure.
But if Juggernauts ban Odin here, that opens the door for the Hell pick.
Yes.
It is Odin, so Manticores could go Hell here.
This is a bait.
It's got to be, it would just be
Trap.
Circuit something. It would have to be.
This is the bait into the first pick Hell, and we were talking about how flexible this team is. Look, we're not the almighty knowing casters.
No, we're not.
That team knows they're flexible as well.
Sure.
So they can win without a Hell pick.
And with the Manticores going for the Osiris first pick again, where Osiris is still strong in the meta as it stands, can be jungle too.
Can be solo.
What's the ultimate do? 100% anti-heal. So if Juggernauts go, hey, we're going to take the Hell now, well, they're still laughing their way to the bank, technically, because they're like, well, we've got some anti-heal to deal with you.
Freya and Camazotz, two characters that go well with anti-heal. Divine Ruin works well on Freya because it gives her power, penetration, and lifesteal, 3 things that she really enjoys.
Beat stick on
Camazotz is core on that character.
Camazotz is great. Kiki's laughing, but I think the Camazotz was the strong... Like, we're all looking at the Hell. The Camazotz enabled the game to get to a late enough point for Hell to be viable.
I just want to see Yammyn back on that mid lane Freya, because everyone was saying Freya was bad and Freya was weak, and Yammyn built no attack speed in the games that he played Freya. He just built full damage and showed how good just the base damage that Freya could do without having the go faster stripes of an auto-attack character.
And remember, this is before the patch where everyone thinks Freya's really, really good, so this is before her buffs, where I agree with you. Everyone was saying she's not very good.
Hooray.
What do you know?
Yammyn.
She still is.
Making a statement. No
It's okay,
surprise there. Camazotz, I brought up the fact that Juggernauts are taking this away from the Minotaurs. The Minotaurs are taking Skadi away from BaRRaCCuDDa. He played it 3 games in a row, and we saw why.
And it could be, but then again, it is emilitoo, so that doesn't mean it's necessarily a shot at BaRRaCCuDDa. Emilitoo's had a great Skadi too.
I think it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen
and that's
in
what I
the
mean.
other.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just because of BaRRaCCuDDa, it's also because that's emilitoo.
Yeah.
But Hu Yi was so good for BaRRaCCuDDa in game 1. I don't think he's really that worried about it. Plus, this gives you a little bit more mobility, a little bit more team fight presence with the ultimate, though less in terms of actual abilities.
Jeff's in a bit of trouble here now that with the bans and picks going through so far, because they've taken Terra away from him for the Manticores, which can be done to the solo lane as well, which we can see KiKi do. Obviously, the Camazotz and Freya is actually going to be for the Juggernauts, so variety more than likely, I'm guessing, potentially on that, and Yammyn as well. Although, QvoFred's Camazotz is insane.
That's going to be QvoFred for Camazotz. I really would be surprised if that went Variety's way.
I just, man, I love seeing these bans. All of these bans are directed at specific
Love
players.
this Fafnir ban. It's the perfect ban here because Fafnir would have been the best possible support.
Freya and a Hu Yi?
With Freya and Hu Yi, 2 characters that Hu Yi low attack speed. Freya, if Yammyn's building no attack speed, it would have been perfect for that.
Sobek is still flex. We have seen Jeff do the Sobek before, but also Variety in the solo lane could be looking for a very safe matchup here. Got to sustain and be that front line annoyance that's going to disrupt and allow his damage dealers to get damage off. So we could see Sobek go either way based off the last 2 picks. Instigates where that Sobek's going.
Manticores, there's a little bit of ambiguity in their roster, but we still definitely need a mid-mage for the best. Does he go back to the Thoth, or does he bring something out
Thoth really struggles in this one for me just because of the double ultimates, get out of combat free, Freya and Camazotz. They can both run down a Thoth, even if he does use the long-range dash, you can still catch him.
I don't know. With the glyph of pain up, that actually will take you out of Freya ult range. Without it,
For the first or second shot, but if you just keep moving as Freya, you can definitely get 2 off.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. Best has played so well on this character. I've got no problems with that.
Yeah. The only one I would have liked maybe is a Raw just for the extra heals again, but, you know, Nike.
Nike?
I like it.
Nike? One of the only players that I've ever really seen enjoy Nike has really been Divios.
Can we just have a little discussion about the fact what Terra's ultimate does and what Nike's passive does, and then just rest in peace, because like that's a zooming amount of free speed for that team, especially in the late game, especially if Nike gets all the passive stacks online as well. That's dangerous.
I don't want to be running away from a Skadi with all that nonsense going on.
Don't worry, because then they'll get sprint with Heavenly too, and then Skadi doesn't even have to stop for movement penalties on their auto attacks.
And then the dog's just bolting around the map.
The dog is just chasing people down again, which is what we saw previously when BaRRaCCuDDa was playing it. Last pick, Zhong. That's Variety's Zhong.
That's Variety's Zhong. That is Variety's Zhong.
And I think he's doing that because he's expecting Nikes in the solo lane, and he can farm against the Nike freely, not have to worry. But if they do a last-minute switch here, the Minotaurs, put Osiris in the solo lane, well, say goodnight to Variety, because he ain't getting out of that one free.
And I think that's... I hope that's what Minotaurs do, because that's where their strength lies. The fact that they can all do that.
Could even be Terra and solo Nike support, and then give Minotaurs an even more passive lane that they'll say, yeah, you can farm up, but I'm just farming up too, and we're both going to impact these team fights.
Knowing the way Kiki plays, I think Terra's more in his wheelhouse than the Osiris, to be honest with you.
Take any sprints.
But does he take it to go beat up Zhong?
I mean, he could, but take into account, Zhong, what's his ultimate do?
Bwah!
That's it. That's the one.
That's what it does?
It's got a limited range, right?
Sure.
Now, even if neither team buys sprint
the
whole of this game, and Terra pops ult, and Nike's got a passive, they're just going to be outrunning all these ghosts all day anyway.
But even if you don't get out of range, once you pop that Terra ult, you're basically guaranteed to get the heal off of it, because it's going to be multiple ghosts going for you.
So it will be Nike in the solo lane, Twiggy on the Osiris, and Aror playing the Terra. But as we said, I mean, this is no surprise to us to see Variety on the Zhong.
No.
But I mean, that's a history lesson, kind of, isn't it?
So the funny thing is, go all the way back to the old days of Team Coast, if you ever heard of them.
Oh, wow.
Start of the Season 1 Pro League, Variety was the solo laner for them. He used to play a lot of the magical healers in the lane. Ra, Chong are two of his specifics that he liked to go to. Aphrodite, high on that list too. But when he made the transition to trying to get towards more physicals when the meta start changing, Zhongadonga was his first go-to, and it took him time to get there.
The old Blink Zhong solo lane. Who isn't used to seeing that?
But the Blink is going to be good for the Team Fire 5 because you're worried about that.
I'm actually laughing. The Blink Zhong Queen.
I think Sprint might have been a little bit better for him, but...
Yeah, Sprint definitely would have been the safer choice. But where's the fun in sprinting around when you can teleport around?
It is an invitational. Let's just put that out there. It's not a world championship, but there's definitely bragging rights on the line to win the first one of these, that's for sure.
First place is $15,762, but I think the pride and the ego is worth a lot more than that, to be honest with you.
Definitely. Just watching the players that have gone out so far, their egos have definitely been hurt a little bit by this, especially after that Hell Ul game yesterday.
Not touching that one. I was talking to the players, though. You know, I was talking about as QvoFred getting hit for a lot early on. CaptainTwig not afraid to take the fight directly to the basic attack.
He's got Bracer.
Freya,
He's got
there's
Bracer.
the Bracer heal, and still damage being dealt down to Yammyn. Big time. Aegis doesn't last long enough. The best starts us off clean.
Great shout from Aggro on the Bracer there, because I think everybody at home probably hadn't spotted it. Neither had the players, clearly. Press tab at the start of the game and check what you're fighting against, because one minute you think you've got a kill, the next minute you're in the fountain.
That's what Bracer does better than Aegis in the early game. I'm pretty adamant about how Aegis will get you out of more situations than Bracer will, but that is one situation, that and tower diving, in the early game where Bracer can really shine.
And because of that first blood as well, now look at the situation Juggernauts are in. Variety needs help in this lane. Having the jungle stolen away, Twig is going to be able to get the speed, and now pressure some more. Quvo is going to have to make this a 2v2, but Juggernauts are both behind him.
Nice dodge by Kiki to get away from the card. Variety not going to wind up on the good side of that one. The best.
God, I hope someone watch these two fight. Don't come mid, junglers. Just let them fight.
And there's the basics going the way out of Yammyn. Look at the life steal helping out as well. Turning around his best. One shot, two shot. There's the basic. Still leading this fight. It's going to be the best.
I just want to see him fight. Remember the old days in Season 1 when you see Mage versus Mage and Duo versus Duo?
And there's going to be a little bit of a tussle, but JeffHindla walks away from the clap. Plays a lot of that Terra, so no big deal.
Good pathing there from JeffHindla, understanding that in the late game, if you have to turn around and do even 2 steps back towards a team, that'll usually get you killed. That's what makes Terra so strong. In that situation, he's okay.
We just missed that stun. If he would have hit that, or it didn't come out, I'm not sure if it was off cooldown or not, but I thought it was available for the stun, but if he hit it, could have been death.
That's exactly how we found the kill on the Yammyn Soul in game number 1. So definitely, you know, is keeping in mind that, hey, he forgot that I existed the second I walked into the jungle. Can I do it again?
Well, he tried to, and that's the best thing about it. Why did you do it with an English accent?
Yeah,
Can he do
best.
it again?
It wasn't an English accent, but it was English inflection.
I was going to say that was the best English accent you've ever done too, and then you said it wasn't
Well,
intentional.
no, it wasn't an accent, but it was the inflection.
Okay.
It's the inflection and the tonality. Accents are multifaceted. You'll get there someday.
I don't need to get there at all. I'm in the finals.
At all.
At all. I don't need to. I speak English for a living, so it's fine.
I speak American.
I have noticed.
I can't support
I've
this.
noticed.
I was there with you, Tom, and then you threw it away, all like that.
You were up for a second. So, a couple of level 5s now coming through. Notice how the Hunters and the solo lanes are predominantly the ones that have hit level 5 quicker. A lot of action with the supports now starting to rotate around. And that means emilitoo and BaRRaCCuDDa getting this free farm. We could see solo kills over there, but we could also see a big team fight impact.
I mean, we saw them box it out in that left side jungle. Neither of these players afraid to take that 1v1. Best, by the way, last game had to back in an inopportune time. Went for that Book of Thoth rush, had to back early, so went for Sands of Time in order to get a power spike, get that CDR and power. But this time was able to stick around for that 1250, already stacking that Book of Thoth before Yammyn's even gotten a chance to back.
Juggernauts heavy on the left side, which means CaptainTwig gets the bananas for free, just waiting there. Just nobody
Bananas?
at all. Yeah, you haven't been hanging out with the energy guys?
Well, the bananas are not the gremlins.
No, those are the bananas.
Yes, so, bananas are on the left side, oracles.
Yeah.
Then it's gremlins on the right side, fire giant elementals.
Yeah, I know. And you just called them bananas,
Yeah.
which are fire elementals.
Yeah,
No,
those are
bananas are oracles.
Oh
you
my
guys are getting your slang terms mixed up.
I don't care. They're oracles.
Yeah, thank you. Can we point out the bananas again? Right
you.
there. That's where the
I
bananas
don't see
spawn.
anything there.
It's going to spawn soon. That circle fills up, Tom. I know you've been playing a lot of Clash recently, so.
He did. He learned about the tentacle minions, too.
Right side, variety in trouble. 2 players diving him, not even on the tower. The up, down, and down he goes. Kill number 2 from Minotaurs. Thank you, CaptainTwig, for taking me out of that one.
I wonder if he got sprint if he would have lived there.
I was about to say, can't blink when you're taking a lot of damage. BaRRa just off the mark. That would have been a kill onto emilitoo here if that ricochet had hit. Might still be anyways.
There's the lurking in the water, trying to
Jeff
slow him down, and there's the knock-up, and there's Yammyn from the middle lane, putting emilitoo one more shot with the basic attack, doing the dirty.
And that is BaRRa getting a kill that he should not have even got. That was Jeff body blocking shots as best he can up against the Skadi, then getting aggro from the 2 of them and allowing Yammyn to walk in and go, well, thanks very much for all the hard work. And BaRRa's like, yeah, thanks, Jeff. We'll take these bananas as well.
Good use. That was good.
Thank you. You all right, Tom?
I am absent.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Did you think the bananas on the other side? Is that why?
2-2 in 5.5 minutes so far, and CaptainTwig is able to look for the blue buff for his teammate. He's going to wait, actually, ensuring that KiKiSoCheeky is able to pick up some of the experience. About a half a level above variety here in this dual lane. You know, one of the powerful things that you have as a solo laner that with an eclectic god pool is sometimes you can catch your opposition sleeping because they don't know the matchup. You're never going to get that on Kiki. He plays everything weird. He's done it before. He knows how to play Nike into Zhong.
Exactly, and people may think that Kiki's just now returning to the solo lane. Kiki was a solo laner long before he had switched to any other role. This is a guy
support,
who, yeah,
he carry.
Yep. Everything but jungle. Yeah. Kiki has played competitively, which is really insane to think about.
I say Kiki knows the matchup, but it's quite a different story in the lane.
Zhong, though, take into account he had a consistent amount of buffs where his ultimate cast a little bit quicker, exercise heals him a little bit quicker too, so he's going to be able to put a little bit more damage out consistently and maybe get underestimated, but man fight!
BaRRa versus Emil. There's big damage going the way of Ho Yi, but Emil's ultimate already on cooldown. The stun is good, half HP for both hunters. Emil's on the chase thanks to the Terra ultimate. Mid lane, Yammyn doing the dirty work. JeffHindla gonna go help out BaRRaCCuDDa on the left-hand side. Yammyn dealing with CaptainTwig, TheBest dealing with QvoFred. One shot out of the bat is good enough.
Meanwhile, emilitoo is now in trouble thanks to the lurking in the waters, and he realizes that he's just gonna stand against the wall knowing that JeffHindla will take his life. BaRRaCCuDDa did all he could.
I do want to bring something up. Sure, yes, we all know why he just stood still. But if he keeps running, BaRRA winds up with the kill. If he stands still, the Crocodile winds up with the kill. I'd rather have the support than the ADC take that one.
Unless you're Aror, and then you don't want him to have it. But luckily enough, it wasn't Aror there, so it's 4-2. And what is all these team fights about, really, Aggro? I'm looking at what's going on. I'm like, well, that wasn't really over anything other than left-hand harpies and a 1v1.
It's the fact that these are players that aren't used to playing with one another. They haven't decided on their preferred play styles, things like that. You're going to get these sort of breakout fights that are out of nowhere just because someone was in the wrong spot at the wrong time and then everyone came to help them out.
So the Nike here. I mean, she fits into the composition basically as the sole initiator, right? I think that's why we see Kiki on the Nike. Yeah, the passives are nice, but I really and truly think it's all about the initiation. If you don't have this Nike here, how are you starting a fight?
Well, it has the early game that you need to try and get that pressure on the right-hand side. Nike, excellent in the early stages because of how quickly Ren can start clearing the wave. It also has that initiation factor, as you mentioned. It's also just a damage absorber. In the last game, Aror was the one who was just absorbing damage all over the place. Kiki was as well in the Camazotz, honestly. Just taking a lot of cooldowns, healing it up, becoming that unkillable force out of the solo lane. Nike does that very, very well. A massive health shield, and then you add a shell on top of that, it's going to be very difficult to knock him down.
And the Manticore's composition here as well, they don't need to hard initiate. They just have to run at people. With their exceptional amount of mobility they're going to have in this squad as the game goes on, just run at them. When Kiki gets in trouble, pop the shield, disengage because it slows everybody down if required to, plus gives you a nice big health pull, and then, worst case scenario, then leap away.
TheBest just waiting there, looking for somebody to come around the corner. Not going to be able to find the stun. So a little bit of a lull in the action here, and this is the question that I want to ask. A lot of times at these events we see more fighting than we're used to, but this one the players are, like we said, taking this one rather seriously. How much of this aggression and this aggro playstyle can we expect to really transition into the regular season?
Well, with the mid-season patch and how much longer I think games are going to start going on average because of the increased Tier 2 tower health, the increased Phoenix health, the decreased XP across the map, I think that this is probably about normal for the first week or two. Then teams will figure out how they want to play it moving past that. That's how it usually goes. Big sweeping changes, revert to your old habits, and then you realize that, okay, we can still play a smarter way to do this.
And talking about aggression in the early game, I mean, with the amount of snowball that's been taken out potentially with the Tier 2 towers and the Phoenixes and Gold Fury experience coming down a little bit more overall, it does mean that you're in a spot where everyone's just going to farm up in the early game. These fights don't mean as much unless you get a monstrous lead of, like, we're talking 4K.
Oh, there it is. We finally get, I always get excited seeing the fire giant animation.
Oh.
Just busting out of the box. It's always cool stuff. But Kiki now dealing with variety on the right side. Gonna get hit by that card time and time again, slowly ticking away the life force.
But I like the fact that he's gone straight into a pestilence. You want the magical resistance here. But not only that, the anti-heal affects Zhong's heal. It also affects the Camazotz and the Freya and the Sobek.
I'd really like to see a runic shield from Kiki in this game. Not only would that be excellent for him in lane up against variety, but you're reducing the magical power of the Freya in the mid to late game, which you're definitely going to need. I think that would really help out.
The Observer right there is pointing out the Swift Wing that Aurora's picked up. This has been one of his go-to items, and he's been talking about a lot recently. Sure, you get to zoom out of the base, but it's a cheap item that gives you just pure health and HP 5.
And it's there for the mobility more than anything to get out of the base as quick as possible. With Terra, you can double dash too if you go for a wall, so you can get a variety of places quite quickly, no pun intended.
And it's the combination of the super speed of the Traveler's Boost with the 5% on the Swift Wing as well. You're just zooming is the whole thing about this composition.
That's what I was about to say. We've talked so much about how fast all these players on Manticores are going to be. And then you look at the itemization. We're looking at a Swift Wing from Aror, a Witchblade from CaptainTwig. That gives movement speed as well. Don't be surprised to see some winged blades coming out because there's plenty of slows on Juggernauts.
Now stack that with the runic shield you were asking for as well, and there's going to be a lot of anti-attack speed potentially coming out from the Juggernauts as time goes on.
Big damage coming out on the plantains here on the left side of the map. Yammyn and QvoFred going to get the vision for their team.
Plantains are a little different.
They're not the same as bananas.
Yeah, no, they're close. They kind of look like bananas, but
they're the poor man
They're,
bananas.
whoa, that you can't say that.
I just said it.
They're sweet, they're nice. You just haven't been in the right spot in the Bronx. QvoFred brought down a half HP. Jumping away is going to be CaptainTwig, and very quickly, that fight was just
But look,
diffused.
it was a win. It was a win for the Juggernauts, though, because they get the ultimate out of Twig and the ult out of Aror, and now the turnaround could be in as BaRRa's thinking about it.
The Aror ultimate's a little bit more important in that equation, I think. CaptainTwig's ult is really just to escape there, and the Gold Fury started and let go very quickly. Aror dashes forward, can't find the route, and that'll be that.
Now, the biggest thing that they've got an issue with Juggernauts is they want to do the Gold Fury here, but if they try and attempt it, they're very worried about TheBest and that ultimate, which is a very good secure in this scenario.
He's already got full stacks on that Book of Thoth, 12 minutes in. He's got the pen boots completed now. No sands of time for him this time. Just a matter of how quickly can he get his full item build online. He's already off to a phenomenal start there. Final Judgment, easily the best securing ability that either side has right now.
I mean, he wrote it. It's his own book. Just gonna let that one marinate real quick.
It marinated long enough, I think.
It just got worse the longer it marinated.
It gets terrible. But I do like the shifted shield on emilitoo. We see quite a few Skadis going for this a little bit more, and I feel most of that is down because her escape is run away.
Yes.
Basically, you've got an ice field, you can step on it, you can run quicker, but you're still going to take damage, so have that shifted shield for a little bit more survivability.
Plus, her scaling is really, really good, so 70 power is exactly the sort of thing that Skadi wants. Attack speed, yeah, someone can get Shoguns, and I don't really care. That's about as much attack speed as emilitoo wants.
Talk about builds a little bit more, though. That Stone of Gaia for Aror, I love it. And funny enough, Aror doesn't really need it playing Terra because you've got that passive of not being knocked up when you have your pillars down, your monolith or your walls. But getting that on top of it means that Sobek literally can't do a single thing to this Terra.
Yeah, I mean, Stone of Gaia has a lot of different applications. You can think about, any knockback, pull, grab, or knockup. But in my mind, this is the anti-Sobek item because that's all he really does. And so this came out, and I was like, oh, that's to deal with Sobek Fling. But also all of these other applications. So Aror going to pick that one up.
And look at the insane amount of HP 5 Aror is going to have. He's got some from Travelers. He's got some from Swiftwing, from Watcher's Gift. And now he's got not only a ton of HP 5 from Stone, but that passive as well.
I loved that Gold Fury pull, but now it's going to turn into a Gold Fury fight. JeffHindla down to about a third of HP. There's the bat from the flank, and trouble for the Skadi being chased through the suns by QvoFred. But here comes help from TheBest and Aror.
Qvo's going to pick him up and then jump towards Best. He will disengage straight away. Nice stun from Best, and there's a alive. And Best will take one down. Qvo out of the engagement.
JeffHindla just barely alive for now as everybody turns their sights onto Variety. He has gone into the deep back line, but will he be punished? TheBest is trying to make it happen. Variety has a hair of HP. Kiki, his lane opponent, chasing him down with the hot basic, takes down the fat man.
Now take into account, Zhong can be countered by sprints. Can be countered by Terra Ultimate, can be countered by Shell. Shell is still going to be great against the Zhong over a short period of time, maybe not as long as it used to be, but that's what happens. Zhong ults, run away!
Can we see the ward vision right here on this sentry ward real quick? And I want to bring this up as the Gold Fury goes the way of the Juggernauts! JeffHindla going back to his roots, and the Hindla handler snatching it away.
He will die for it, but I don't think he'll be too upset.
Look at him.
Absolute worth.
Of course he's happy with that.
That's what he made a name for himself on once upon a time.
Qvo against 3. I thought he was going to continue there because he got a lot of damage off. With BaRRa turning up, the ricochet, not really exactly where we would have liked it. Did get a bit of poke damage off, but not enough. And you can see by the graphs, Tom, it's still even.
That was a huge steal from JeffHindla because all of the momentum was starting to go Manticore's way. That fight looked all Manticore's because Emil gets chased down by Qvo and BaRRaCCuDDa's ultimate. But it was the trust that Best and Twig had in one another, which is just preposterous because they've never teamed together until yesterday, but he trusts Twig to go in and hit a multi-man route to set up for that crazy final judgment.
And the other thing about that steal that Jeff just found there is that it's an unknown thing that supports have to do sometimes. You are a morale booster, and those sort of plays can turn the game back in your favor, especially when you're 1-0 down and losing game 2.
That's what it's all about. And, I said it before. They took the item away. Hand of the Gods doesn't do what it used to do anymore, but Jeff doesn't care. Finds it with the Sobek. BaRRaCCuDDa jumps over the wall. QvoFred trying to deal with TheBest with help from Yammyn. He's going to live for the moment. Knock up by Kiki, putting QvoFred even higher in the air. That's the end for Best.
But Best did so much work to stay alive for such a long period of time. Kiki's in trouble though, juggled in the air, and by doing so means he will fall down to Qvo, who picks up a double. And we warned beforehand how good that Camazotz can be.
This draft for Juggernauts has such a perfect balance of AoE and single target damage. Yammyn has got some AoE with that ultimate, but it's very, very small. Qvo, pretty much single target. Everyone else, area damage. Variety, BaRRaCCuDDa, JeffHindla, all just dropping AoE ultimates in that little tiny corridor on bottom right Harpies. You can't really take the 1v1s because Qvo and Yammyn are both going to outbox you. And you can't just group up like they did in game 1 because there's so much AoE available for the Juggernauts.
Game number 1 went to the Mantacores in, well, exciting fashion. It all went to hell. The healer came out and just won it all out for the blue squad. Game number 2, Juggernauts were starting to fall behind as far as all relevant categories. But with one flip of the tail, JeffHindla brings his team back in, not just by way of the X's and O's, but also mentally and morally. You see on the right side, Juggernauts able to make that one happen. 17.5 in. Juggernauts up 1 kill and about 1,000 gold.
And you talk about the mental side of it. Well, that last play that we saw Juggernauts do against Mantacores, the big talking point is they have to kill Best. Best was having such a good game. Look how long he survived that fight on his own until the team turned up to help. They were just a little bit too late. Take out the Best, and a major source of the damage from the Mantacores is taken off the table.
We talked about Best being quiet in comms, but he does this on the Pro League as well. He's just quietly in the back line. Thinking back to the Eager set back at Worlds, right? It wasn't until the Best was focused that he died. He played Anubis, and he was able to just get away with it. People tend to ignore the Best for some unknown reason.
Now look at the graphs. If you go to the graphs again, you'll see there's a small lead for Juggernauts of 980 gold. Well, look at the net worth difference between BaRRaCCuDDa and KiKiSoCheeky. That's about the same. That's where all that gold seems to be. Is on BaRRaCCuDDa and the Zhong who's just been able to farm and farm and farm.
And I'll tell you what, I'd much rather have a fed Zhong than a fed Nike. So that's a really good spot for Juggernauts.
Uh-oh, BaRRa gets in trouble, forced to jump away, and JeffHindla one more time trying to help out. This time might have helped too much. The pluck you heard was ignored by the Stona Gaia. Kiki finds the thread and takes him out.
Qvo's on half health around the corners. BaRRa's now already used his leap and deleted off the map by Aror. Bad out of hell into play from Qvo, but it's not doing much damage. The ghost from BaRRaCCuDDa keeping them busy, but a huge shell.
emilitoo so low, Aror so low, CaptainTwig so low, but it's Kiki that's keeping everybody away from the rest of the squad. Aror dashes forward, takes care of business by himself. The Best shows up and does it as well. Aegis extends his life force.
Look at Twig.
QvoFred is in trouble because of the body blocks from CaptainTwig.
Save his teammate as well. Twig goes in, relying full well that Best will deal the damage and get the kill. Best does it. Twig realizes, hang on, he missed one shot. I will sack myself. Go on and live, my friend.
That's
Teammates
Twig.
that
That's
haven't
Twig.
played since before yesterday.
Yeah, that's Twig. It doesn't matter if, I mean, okay, maybe not ranked, but in a competitive setting like this, he's going to do that for any mid laner he has.
Look at when he started in the jungle. What did he do? Throw himself into the team fight. I don't care about my life as long as you clean up and win. I'm happy with it. Did the same thing there. Clean up the fight, get the portal demon off the back of it because they managed to pick up that kill.
That's because Twig used to be a mid laner. He understands the plight of the role that just keeps getting put down by the oppressive warriors.
You play Thoth in the mid lane. You get Thoth in the mid lane.
Yeah.
With sniper range. Giannis with sniper range. Raw with sniper range. And you complain about people jumping on you.
Yeah,
because
they do so much damage. I can't
you guys
kill
probably
them.
all just play sniper in FPS games because like you just want to sit at the back and like
New mages over there. Just complaining a little bit.
We don't get any farm. Everyone splits our waves.
I play support. I play support. I'm Aror. I'm Jeff. I'm level 13 in this game, trying to body block and save BaRRa. BaRRa's like, hey guys, I hit a ricochet. Then I'm getting CC'd, and Aror's just like, never hit, never fear. I'll die for you.
Yeah, but look who's on top of net worth there. Jeff,
Zhong
above the mid laner.
That is true.
And y'all are both platinum or lower. This is why nobody likes when casters talk about their own play, folks.
False, actually.
Incorrect too.
Oh, you guys like listening to each other talk.
Yeah, I do.
That makes about.
I never said that. Never put words in my mouth like that. Jeez.
Middle lane, QvoFred.
I played the fifth.
And variety. Hey, look at you, American and all.
I'm getting there slowly. Gold Fury started up though for a second, but reinforcements for Juggernauts here. I'm surprised Mantacores dropped that just because they do have the Best, which I keep mentioning. He's the only one with that gigantic ultimate that will take this away more so than anything Juggernauts could throw it.
If lightning's going to strike twice for anybody, it's going to be for JeffHindla, though. So They're respecting the crop.
So respect Jeff more than anybody else,
exactly.
I guess.
Yeah.
I can see that. And Lurking in the Waters is a fantastic zoning tool.
And lurking around the backside is QvoFred, and TheBest finds him with the stun, and everybody else finds him with the damage. TheBest gets credit, but everyone collapsed on the back.
Variety's already half health thanks to the ult from Best. The ghosts are out, but the protections are now wasted because of that. BaRRa's late to the fight, going to eat a lot of damage from the Best, and the dashing is good, the stun is better, and Kiki's like, thanks a lot, Best. I'm going to get a free kill because of you as Best walks through the sun.
That's what happens when your flank is exposed. Best turns around and just goes, hey guys, there's an assassin behind us, and he's by himself. Everybody deletes him, the rest of the team to follow. emilitoo gets the kill, taunts out, drops the BM active, and the deicide is good. Manticore's slinking into the jungle, looking for the big boy.
The Best has looked unreal this set. We talked about how you can't give Aror hell, clearly. For my money, I don't think I'm letting the Best take Thoth again.
Just want to point out to everybody about my power rankings that were criticizing it. Best was the highest rated, second highest rated North American player until Horywin took the spot of DreamHack. But there's reasons why Best was above Baskin and Anderson, and he's showing exactly why.
The Best is just, I mean, I'm not going to say he's earned his name because I'm not going to give him that power, but he plays so well. And like I said, a lot of people just, I don't know why he gets ignored so much, not just in conversation, but in game as well. If you think back to when Eager did well at not just Worlds, but the trip to get to Worlds, the Super Regionals, right? It was all about, oh, let him do his thing. I guess we have to ban the Ra. And then you kind of got beat up and they eventually make it.
I mean, that team had Devios and Zapman on it, right? Devios, who was a powerhouse, who was soloing people for days once upon a time. And you got Zap, the same thing over in the solo lane too. And recognizable. Because Best doesn't stream as well, a lot of people don't recognize him as much, even though he does so much work for this team.
Best streams twice a year. And it's always from the same library.
And he gets good
And it's
viewership.
all just crap posts in the chat. That's nothing else. There's nothing else in his chat. And that's the way he likes
true.
it.
Yeah, it's just meme spam. It's great because that's
Look
the
how
best.
aggressive he is there. Look how far forward he pushed onto BaRRaCCuDDa. The rest of his team backing him up because Juggernauts didn't want to go in. BaRRa's already at half health. Yammyn too. And now Jeff's on zone duty. And Jeff's probably sacking himself to keep his team alive yet again.
Kiki and Aror get 2 kills before the fight even starts.
Put a fork in it.
Variety goes down. QvoFred takes to the skies, and
It's
CaptainTwig just keeping on the chase. Left side, that's where the objectives are. The tower, well, it's going to crumble.
This is only a 5K lead right now, and it may as well feel like 50.
Yeah, why is that?
Manticores, they've just won every team fight for the last, 10 minutes, it feels like. Look at the damage put out. Juggernauts was on the run from the beginning. There's just not enough front line for the Juggernauts composition, so Best is able to dash in and not really worried about it because then his front line just goes right past him and he's going to be safe.
There's so many things that even I'm still overlooking in this game, like the Nike pick. Well, what else does it have in his kit that we didn't mention? The disarm.
Yeah.
What have they got on the team? Juggernauts, 2 hunters basically with that Freya, both disarmed and able to make an impact because of it.
Freya kept below 10,000 damage. Best 800 away from 20,000. And that ult might just do it. Taking down the opposition. 80 damage away from 20k. Kiki jumps on top of QvoFred, doing the dirty work. Blackjack for Manticores. There's 21 on the board, and it's all about the old objective, the Manticores.
Well, you guys were saying you expected, I mean, we're talking off air, I'm going to say it now. You guys were both saying 3-1 Manticores, and it could just be a 3-0 Manticores with how this is going.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know.
Because that's two completely different styles of play that Manticores have shown again in this set, and 2 completely dominating performances.
Uh-oh, Variety's not allowed to be there, dog. Not when there's 4 people.
He's got blink, it's
right
okay.
behind
He's got
you.
blink, he's got blink, he's got blink.
Oh, I'm sorry, bud.
Imagine if we had that blink room back again. He'd be okay then.
He would have been A-okay. Nothing about Juggernauts.
By the
A-okay
ritual,
right
dude.
now. That's, we're
Shouts
past
to
that.
rituals.
We're past that, okay?
Hey, you never know. Season 5.
Manticores win this one. Quickly, let's get away from there.
So Sobek in that
CaptainTwig
game.
doesn't want to see it either. And so Sobek actually comes up with one of the bigger plays for the Juggernauts.
Do you see Vinny in the background there? Looked like he was doing a Blair Witch impression, just standing in the corner.
It's always what Vinny looks like.
Bless him. Jeff did his best, but it wasn't good enough. 2-0 right now in favor of the Manticots. I don't know how Juggernauts get back into this.
I mean, I think that you take Best off his comfort pick. I think that you stick to what is a little bit more traditional. Look, for me, I'm not going to pin that all on Variety because I think that everyone could have played a little bit better. I'm taking Yammyn off Freya.
Yes.
And I'm taking Variety off Zhong Kui.
I don't mind the Zhong.
And I'm giving them a traditional composition. Yammyn's Giannis was great. Why not just give Yammyn Thoth? His Thoth is really good.
Sure, but at the same time, like, Best can still play plenty of gods in that
Of
mid
course
lane that
he
can do
can.
the same sort of thing as what that Thoth would.
Sure, but at LAN, when you're in the zone and you've been playing the same god and you've got all your timings down, look, you can play Scylla at home a million times and you come to LAN, and even though you played Scylla at LAN before, you got to get used to it again. He's been playing Thoth all day, every day for these finals and semifinals. Take him off of it. Make him do something else against you.
I mean, jokes aside, this is when I actually do listen to the ex-player expertise over here. By the way, he played with Chapo.
Did he?
Feed the hot hand.
No way.
And letting him keep the hot hand is very, very scary. So take him off of the Thoth, I agree. I really don't mind the Zhong Kui. I minded the Blink. I think if we saw the Spring, it'd be a different story. It's that tanky frontline that you want, just a different flavor. But Yammyn's Freya's got to go. It's less of a knock about him and more of a shout out to how well the enemy team can control it.
The one thing that we're going to see at the Manticores every time, though, is that every time we see the Juggernauts and we see them look for a draft and think they're in control, Manticores will always have something go, okay, we have this pick that will deal with it. Nike was one of them.
Yeah. Arachne is still out there.
I know, that's what I mean. There's always going to be something available.
They might.
Up 2-0 in a best of 5.
Hitters count?
Yeah, this is the time. If we're going to see it, I suppose it's got to be now.
Do you reckon we could just get them all to play gods that, you know, don't win much just so we can show they are still good, just not competitively viable for the most part?
Poir, some Arachne,
Yeah.
some Anubis. This is the
They're
team
more
that
This
would
is
do
the
it.
team. Yeah, this is the team
They
that would
could do it, and they probably would be able to play it on all the roles too.
I don't know if there's an Apuash play. Actually, Best likes
I
to
think
play
there's two.
Apuash.
Yeah,
There's
best to
definitely two
play
Arachne players. I know Twig used to love a good bit of Arachne.
Oh, no,
too.
So was
You're
Emil.
right.
What about Emil?
Oh no, you're right.
Emil's not scared of playing anything either.
No,
so.
he's really not.
Oh no. Oh
It
no.
almost feels like that draft that happened all the way back when for the NRG Invitational, Aror was just looking for the people who could play the most gods, the biggest god pools, ranging more than just Aror.
When it comes down to it, I really think Aror was just looking to have a good time this weekend and also win. And he picks the 4 guys that he sees, and he surrounds himself with 4 guys that are going to have a good time and also win. 1 game away from over 15 grand as the Manticores will be back with Game 3 right after this.